Shalom, Shmurda Thug. Y'all got any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat right now. Bear with me a few seconds. We're going to get this thing rolling. But definitely go ahead and put y'all questions in there if you have any. Shalom. Y'all by Shimmy outside, rock a thumb. My brothers, y'all small, the thun by Shimmy outside of the sisters. Freezing over some 5,000 recovered Israelite School of UPK. Start out at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Under command of General Yohana. Alright? You know what I mean? As you know, we've been dropping this truth, hitting them street corners worldwide since 1969. And we've been teaching so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians the truth according to the Bible. All right. And the reason why it's necessary to teach them the truth according to the Bible, and the reason why we don't have the truth as it pertains to the scriptures, is because of these Christian churches that we've been going to for centuries upon centuries. All right. And with that being said, you know, we have a common misconception as to who Christ died for. You know what I mean? Thinking that Christ died for the so-called Jewish man, that the man that currently occupies the land of Israel today. You know what I mean? When that is not the case. That's absolutely heresy. It's false. You know what I mean? It's no truth in it. Bear with me 1 second. Let me turn this down. All right, so there's absolutely no truth in it. All right, when as it pertains to who Christ died for, and believing that he came and he died for, you know, the Jewish man that's in the land of Israel, or you think that, you know, he came and he died for everybody. You know what I mean? All the nations that currently stand in the earth today. You know what I mean? Whether they be you know, European descent, whether they be of Asian descent, or you know, some type of some African or what have you. You know what I mean? Christ didn't come and die for all ethnic groups. You know what I mean? But in fact, who he did come and died for was, you know, the Israelites. All right, and Christ being the Israelite himself, he came and he died for his people. You know what I mean? And his death was an ultimate example of his devotion and his loyalty to the Most High, first and foremost, and secondly, to his people. All right? To his people, who will be the Israelites. All right, and the reason why I mentioned the man that currently occupies the land of Israel today, that professes himself to be a Jew, is because when we think about who the Jews are, that's immediately who pops into mind. It's that man that is in the land of Israel today. You know what I mean? When that indeed is false. You know what I mean? And this is why it's important to you know, teach this topic. You know what I mean? Because so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, so long we've been inside of this kingdom, and, you know, because we've been second-class citizens, and, you know, we've been, you know, subject under our slave master. You know, we've grown to the point where we don't have a grasp, you know what I mean, a firm grasp on the authentic truth of our ethnicity. You know what I mean? Our nationality as a people. You know what I mean? I'm talking about those who were slaves, those brothers and sisters that were enslaved. We don't have an authentic grasp on what our identity actually is. You know what I mean? Like, we think that we Puerto Rican, which means a rich port. You know what I mean? When that's what Christopher Columbus, when he came over to the Americas and he saw all the riches abroad the land, you know what I mean? He called it the rich port. You know what I mean? Thus, attaching that name to the people of that land. You know what I mean? So we didn't identify ourselves as Puerto Ricans or Dominicans, which means a loyal dog. You know what I'm saying? Or Indian, which means a savage. You know what I mean? Native Indians calling themselves Native Indians, when, you know, the man that, you know, stole the land from under your feet and you know, dang near wiped out, you know, our generations. You know, that cat is the one that called you a savage. I mean, meanwhile, he's the one murdering, raping, and robbing
in enslaving you, he calls you the savage. You know what I mean? That's why he's the devil the Bible speaks of. But we go and we identify ourselves, you know, in these different ways. But the ways that we identify ourselves is the one is through what the slave master intended for us to identify ourselves. That's how we identify ourselves. And it's just the reason why we point it out is just because when you think about it, it's really how do you say, it's unwise to identify yourself by that term that your slave master gave you. You know what I mean? Uh, and it is important to know what your identity is. You know what I mean? It definitely is. You know what I mean? Because if you don't know who you are, you know, you'll never know who your enemy is. All right, because you'll think, you know, I know plenty good. I know plenty good. Uh, I know plenty of good white people. You know what I mean? No white person has ever personally offended me. You know what I mean? Uh, no white person has ever personally offended me. You know what I mean? I know certain white people that, they don't have those same tendencies that their forefathers had, as far as enslaving us and, you know, uh, having a mentality, that revolves around the racism that they forefathers, built this kingdom on. You know what I mean? And you'll think, because nobody is personally attacking you, or you've never experienced anything on a personal level, that you know you're not a target by the someone who intends to oppress you, not individually, but on a national level. You know what I mean? Someone who he builds a whole system of oppression to employ it on nations. You know what I mean? Not you personally, but it's to be employed on your whole nation. You know what I mean? So you'll never see that attack coming because you think it's just about you. You know what I mean? When in reality, it's not just about you. You know what I mean? It's about everybody that descends from your lineage. You know what I mean? So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, Haitians, Jamaicans, we all we all have the same blood. We all come from the same lineage. All right? And that's important. And ultimately, what I mean, collectively, we are a nation of people. All right? And the nation of people that we are the Israelites of antiquity. You understand? The so-called black people would be from the tribe of Judah. You know what I mean? The so-called Haitian people would be from the tribe of Levi. All right? You know what I mean? You go down the list, the Cubans would be from Amnessa, the Puerto Ricans would be from Ephraim, you know what I mean? Uh, the Seminole Indians would be from the tribe of Reuben, the Mexicans would be from, the tribe of Issachar, uh, the West Indians would be from the tribe of Benjamin. That's who we are. If you get to the essence of who we are as a people, that's who we are. You know what I mean? And Christ Christ came and he pledged, his allegiance not to the American flag, you know what I mean, but he pledged his allegiance first and foremost to the Most High, you know what I mean, and in doing that, he also pledged allegiance, his devotion, his loyalty to the so-called Israelites. Not the so-called Israelites, Salakia. You know what I mean? He pledged his allegiance to the Israelites. You know what I mean? So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You know what I mean? So much so that, you know what I mean? Christ loved black people so much. He loved Hispanics so much. You know what I mean? He loved blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians so much that he was willing to lay down his life in order to save his people. You know what I mean? To save his people from the enslavement. You know what I mean? To save his people from systematic oppression, mass incarceration, you know what I mean? Abortion, you know, chemical warfare, crack cocaine in your neighborhood, heroin. You know what I mean? Christ came and he died, you know what I mean, to save his people. Save his people from all the atrocities, you know what I mean, all the hell that we suffer under, you know what I mean? To deliver us from that condition, to deliver us from the condition that we currently are in today. All right? And without further ado, I'm gonna get into some scriptures and we'll bust it down, you know what I mean? So let me before I go there, let me just check this joint out right fast. I'm gonna check it out real quick, and you know, we'll see what's happening. Okay, so all right, no sweat. So we smooth on that. Black love, segregation, hatred. What's going on here? What are these tags doing here? Okay, no sweat. There's no problem with that. With that being said, let's go ahead and get straight into it. All right, y'all make sure y'all got y'all King James versions. Don't be reading them NIVs, them whatever else they call. I don't even know what them joints is called. I just know that NIV one, whatever you reading, you know what I'm saying. Make sure you grab up that King James version, 1611 edition, preferably. You know what I mean, with the Apocrypha, all right? And then we could all rock on the same page. Y'all can follow along, and if you have any questions as we going on, you could definitely drop it in the chat, and you know, to the best of my ability, I'll get to that thing for you, all right? But I'll definitely get you an answer, all right? So without further ado, let's go to Matthew 1, and we start at 21, all right? Matthew 1 and 20. Do I want to start at 21? I mean, you know, just so get a little bit of the story. Let's see. Yeah, I guess we could start at 18, all right? So let's start at 18. All right, Matthew 1 and 18. Did I put that thing back on? Hold on, bear with me 1 second. The thing ringing out kind of loud, all right? So I want to turn it down just a little bit. Y'all bear with me as I turn that thing down. Yeah. Okay, I don't know how that thing jumped back up. But yeah, we back rolling. Okay. So let's start at Matthew 1 and 18, all right? Matthew chapter 1 and verse 18. Now the birth of Christ was on this wise, meaning the birth of Christ. So Christ, the birth of Christ happened in this way. All right, it's about to explain it. When as his mother Mary was espoused to Joseph before they came together, meaning she was promised to Joseph, you know what I mean, and before they came together, meaning before they had the marriage ceremony. All right. She was found with child of the Holy Spirit. She was found with child of the Holy Spirit. So before they had the marriage ceremony, Joseph and Mary had sex, you know what I mean? And Mary was impregnated by Joseph. All right. So that's how that thing happened right there. Okay. Let's read on. Of the Holy Spirit, meaning that this was the Most High's will, you know what I mean? That for Christ to be born was the Most High's will. All right, let's read on. Then Joseph, her husband, being a just man, right? Joseph was a righteous brother. Let's read on. And not willing to make her a public example, you know what I mean? You know, let's read on. Was minded to put her away privily. All right, so meaning what? Joseph didn't want to put Mary on blast. Meaning what? Meaning, he didn't want Mary to seem like she was fast, like, you know, because of course you're supposed to, after you have the marriage ceremony, you know what I mean, then you would have sex. You know what I mean? But before they even had the marriage ceremony, they had sex with one another. You understand? So, you know what I mean? Joseph didn't want to make her a public example and make it look like Mary was some type of fast broad who couldn't keep her legs closed. You know what I mean? So he didn't. So he kept it on the low. All right. Let's read on. But while he thought on these things, so now Joseph's sitting there, he contemplating because the brother got a child on the way, and he knows that he got a child on the way, right? So now he thinking about it. He thinking about everything that comes with that fatherhood. You know what I mean? He thinking on these things. All right. Let's read on. Behold, so look at here. The angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a dream, saying. So now this is an angel of the Most High. You know what I mean? He appeared unto Joseph in a dream. All right. Let's read on. Joseph, thou son of David, right? Joseph, thou son of David. Joseph was from the tribe of Judah. He was the son of David. David, you know what I mean, referring to King David. All right. So Joseph descended from a royal bloodline. All right. One, that with kingship in it. All right. Let's read on. Fear not to take unto thee Mary, thy wife. You know what I mean? Because once again, sex is marriage. You know what I mean? So he said, fear not to take unto thee Mary, thy wife. Right? You know what I mean? So regardless as to whether the marriage ceremony is had or not, you know what I'm saying? Once a man, goes into a woman, then that becomes his wife. All right? Let's read on. Fear not to take unto Mary, wife, for that which is conceived in her is of the Holy Spirit, meaning that's the Most High's will. You know what I mean? That's what the Lord wanted to happen. All right. So don't sweat it. Take Mary on as a wife. All right. No sweat. Let's read on. All right. Boom. And she shall bring forth a son. So this is talking about Mary. It's saying she's going to bring forth a son. All right. So this is this was like, you could say it's a gender reveal from the angel of the Most High. He's letting her know what he's about to have. All right, which is going to be a son. All right, let's read on. And thou shalt call his name Jesus. And thou shalt call his name Jesus. Right. So now this is the angel. He's telling Joseph what he is supposed to name that child. You know what I mean? Because once again, this is the will of the Most High. All right. And when you go into the Hebrew, when you go into the Hebrew word that Jesus derives from, the translation of it means savior or deliverer. All right. So this child that Joseph and Mary were going to have together was going to be a savior and a deliverer, and we are going to find out for who. Let's read on. For he shall save his people. All right. So now it's saying, for he shall save his people. Now it doesn't say that Christ was going to come and save all of the other nations, right? But in fact, you know what I mean, his people being a possessive noun is actually letting you know that Christ is coming to save his people. You know what I mean? He's coming to save the people that descend from his lineage. All right. The people that have the same blood as him. You know what I mean? Those his brothers that's according to the flesh. You know what I mean? All right. So let's read on. He shall save his people from their sins. All right. So he shall save his people from their sins. All right. Once again, I think we went over this last week, but it doesn't hurt to, go over it again. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I mean, when you look at the scriptures, I'm not going to go there today. But when you go to Romans, the 9th chapter and the 4th verse, it lets you know that the law only pertains to the Israelites. So technically speaking, the only ones that could break the law would be the Israelites. You know what I mean? So if you was a Chinese man or African or European or of any other descent, you wouldn't be able to technically break the law because those laws was given to the Israelites. All right. So Christ came and you know what I mean, he came, and his purpose for coming was to save his people from their sins, meaning to save the Israelites, so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians from their sins. You know what I mean? And what is a sin? A sin is a transgression of the law. So, Salaki, I didn't mention that earlier. All right. So Christ came to save his people from their sins. All right. And once again, you know what I mean? This is an angel of the Most High, and he's prophesying onto Joseph. So this angel of the Most High prophesying onto Joseph, you know what I mean? You can certainly believe that this is a truthful statement. You know what I mean? Like, for anyone to try to oppose that Christ didn't come and die for everyone, you know what I mean, is definitely blasphemous. It's a lie against the Most High. And you know what I mean, for you to say that, you have to be real prideful to believe that, because an angel of the Most High clearly came and prophesied unto Joseph, informing him that, you know what I mean, Mary was going to have a son. This son being Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. He was going to have that son, and that son, you know what I mean, being what? Joseph is from the tribe of Judah. Christ from the tribe of Judah. He's going to die. He was going to save his people from their sins. You know what I mean? That's what the angel said. You know what I mean? His people being the Israelites, the 12 tribes that make up the nation of Israel. You know what I mean? This is coming from the mouth of an angel. This is a message being delivered from the Most High by an angel of the Most High. You know what I mean? So for anyone to oppose that Christ didn't die for everyone is, a very proud gesture. You know what I mean? And you should check your spirit, because, you know what I mean, under no circumstance is your word more valid than an angel that comes directly from the Most High. All right. So with that being said, you know what I mean, we're going to keep this thing pushing. Okay. So, actually, let me see real quick. I'm going to flip this joint right here. See, we might want to get something else on that. You know what I mean? But in the meantime, let's go to Matthew, the 10th chapter. All right. So we'll go to Matthew, the 10th chapter. All right. Yeah, I'm trying to see what I didn't get last week. I'm going to throw a couple of them things up in there for y'all. All right. Okay, Matthew, the 10th chapter, and we could start at the 5th verse, all right? Yeah, I'm going to get to that too, so. Salakia, let's go to Matthew, the 10th chapter, all right? You know what I mean? Like, Christians are very prideful, man. You know what I mean? It's really a terrible thing as to how prideful they are. You know what I mean? To believe that their word is more valid than an angel that is sent from the Most High. You know what I mean? Like, they blasphemy is on a whole nother level. You know what I mean? And, you know what I mean? So, with that, we going to keep it pushing. And, we'll further prove the point as to that Christ only came and died for so-called Black, Hispanic, Native Indians, all right? So, with that being said, I mean, and even if you was in disbelief that so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians are the Israelites according to that Bible, you know what I mean, at least you would have to admit that Christ, only came and died for the Israelites. If let's say you was uncertain as to who the Israelites were, you know what I mean, as far as modern day is concerned, you know what I mean, at the bare minimum, we should at least, you know what I mean, if we just being real with ourselves, you know what I mean, everybody say they keep it 100, but if you keeping it 100 with yourself, you know what I mean, you know what I mean, if then you should be able to see that Christ didn't come and die for everybody. He didn't come and, you know what I mean, to save everyone. You know what I mean? So at the least, all right. Well, let's read on. Okay. Let me see where I want to start. I want to start at there. Yeah, let's start at Matthew 10 and 5. All right. So, boom. Matthew 10 and 5. These 12 Yahushua sent forth. These 12 Yahushua sent forth, meaning Christ sent forth the 12 disciples, his 12 disciples. All right, that's who the 12 is referring to. It's referring to the 12 disciples that followed Christ. All right, let's read on. And commanded them. So Christ gave, when Christ sent his 12 disciples forth, he gave them an order. All right, that's what a command. When it says he commanded them, meaning he gave them an order. All right, you know what I mean? Because once again, Christ was the ultimate soldier for his people. You know what I mean? And the brothers that rolled with Christ, they were also soldiers for so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, man. You know what I mean? Because they love Black people. You know what I mean? They love the Hispanic people. They love the Native Indian people, man. You know what I mean? And they made it their business to go out there and bring back them 12 tribes, man. You know what I mean? But let's read on. Saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles, right? So it says, go not into the way of the Gentiles. What are the Gentiles referring to in this context? In this verse, it's talking about a non-Israelite people. Okay, that's who the Gentiles are talking about right here. Now, when you read the scriptures, Gentiles is not strictly confined to meaning a non-Israelite people. However, in this instance, it's talking about a non-Israelite people. And when he says go not into the way of the Gentiles, what is that referring to? That's referring to going into places where racially they're predominant. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? If you have a predominantly white town or you know what I mean, where you know what I mean, it's not a racially diverse, you know what I mean, and you just have, it's mostly white people out there, okay, or you got mostly anybody that's not an Israelite, you know what I mean, and they're the predominant ethnic group in that area, you know what I mean. That's not what Christ wanted you to go, you know what I mean. However, in fact, we're going to find out where he did want them to go, all right. But let's read on. Go not into the way of the Gentiles, all right? And into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not. Into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, all right? Let's read on. But go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So now, you know me, this is a question that we should pose to ourselves. We should pose this question to ourselves if we still have any disbelief that Christ came and he died for everyone. All right. This is the question you should pose to yourself. Now, if Christ came and he died for all ethnicities and nationalities on the earth and to save them from their sins, right? If that in fact was the case, then why during the time of Christ, you know what I mean, and the disciples, would Christ give an order to his disciples to not go and teach everyone, but to only teach the Israelites? You understand? Like you got, like, think about it. If Christ was trying to save everybody, wouldn't he teach everyone? Wouldn't he want his disciples to teach everyone? But no, Christ didn't want his disciples to teach everyone. He didn't want them to go where there wasn't Israelites at. He wanted them to go he wanted them to go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. You know what I mean? And that's so heavy. That lost sheep, you know what I mean, is so heavy because, you know what I mean, definitely, certainly, so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, you know what I mean, are lost today. You know what I mean? One, because we don't have an identity. Not that we don't have an identity, but we don't know what our true identity is, you know what I mean, for the most part. You know what I mean? And the masses, when we talking about the masses, that we don't know what our true identity is. You understand? So definitely we are lost. You know what I mean? And then secondly, we don't know who our enemy is. You know what I mean? So that's another you can contribute that to us to being lost. Another thing you can contribute to us being lost is we don't know what our identity is, our true identity is as a people, and we don't know who our enemy is. You know what I mean? We think our enemy is, you know what I mean, if you a Dominican, you think that your enemy is a Haitian brother. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? If you Puerto Rican, you think your enemy is a Mexican or something like that, or what have you. You know what I mean? We too busy thinking that we are enemies to each other. You know what I mean? But that's what's so heavy about it is because you look at these other nations. Surely they're able to identify who their enemies are. Civilians, when U.S. citizens are at risk, you know what I mean. Donald Trump, he takes out the top Iranian general. When the Iranians are plotting mysterious attacks against America, they go and they take them out. You understand? Because those people are not lost. They know who their people are. They know who they are. And they know who their enemy is. You know what I mean? But surely, you know what I mean, when you go out and we go out to teach, we got to teach black people, Hispanics, and Native Indians who their enemy is. You know what I mean? Because we love our slave master. We love the same man that oppresses us. You know what I mean? And we have to teach our people that we shouldn't love the man that, put you into slavery. You shouldn't love the man that raped your forefathers and your foremothers. You know what I mean? Like your great 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 grandmother was raped by this man, and you want to love them. You know what I mean? Like, don't love the people that put crack cocaine in your neighborhood. You know what I mean? With the intention to destroy you, with no regard for your life. You know what I mean? Don't love the people that incarcerate you. Though you be roughly 15 to 16% of the population, however, making up 80% of the prison population. You know what I mean? Don't love the people that incarcerate you at such a level. You know what I mean? The people that shoot you and murder you in the streets. You know what I mean? The ones that are supposed to protect and serve. You know what I mean? Don't get caught up in those titles. You know what I mean? Because, certainly they're not here to protect and serve you. You know what I mean? Those police officers, the police is not here to protect and serve blacks and Hispanics. You know what I mean? ICE agents is coming to kick in your door and separate you from your family. You know what I mean? The police are gonna pull you over when you are licensed to have a firearm, and they're gonna murder you for having that firearm on you legally. You understand? Like they did to brother Philando Castile. You know what I mean? Don't love the man that, would hang your mother, your auntie, your cousin, your sister, and lynch them in a cell. You know what I mean? Because of a traffic violation. You know what I mean? That's what we have to teach our people. You know what I mean? And that's you know what I mean? That's how the disciples went out there and they taught their brothers and sisters, man. You know what I mean? Because they were soldiers for their people. You know what I mean? They were definitely soldiers for their people. And, you know what I mean? When you look at who is here to protect and serve you, you know what I mean? You should look to the priests and prophets of the Most High. That's who you should look towards. You know what I mean? And of course, I'm talking about the only priests and prophets of the Most High, which can be found in the Israelite school of UPK under Commander General Yana. You know what I mean? We are the one body of Christ on this earth, and we carry out the mission of Christ. I mean, and we are the only, you know what I mean, for lack of a better term, we are the only Israelite organization that has the truth according to the Bible. You know what I mean? As it pertains to whatever, you know what I mean, the topic matter is. All right? In this case, who Christ died for. Okay? So, let me see. Let's read on. And as ye go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Right? And as ye go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. All right? So now this is what Christ was ordering his disciples to go and teach. You know what I mean? The soldiers of Christ This is what this is what they were being ordered to teach. To go and tell blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that the kingdom of heaven is at hand. What is the kingdom of heaven? The kingdom of heaven is so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indian rulership. You understand? And how do blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians gain rulership inside of the earth? All right. Let's ask ourselves that question. The way that we gain the rulership in the earth is through the fall of the current rulership that is in the earth. You know what I mean? Which is why, the kingdom of heaven is definitely at hand. You know what I'm saying? You starting to see biblical prophecies being fulfilled. You know what I mean? Biblical prophecy is being fulfilled. You hearing of wars and rumors of wars. That whole thing, that whole little incident with Trump and them Iranian cats, man. You know what I mean? Right on the brink of war. You understand? Absolute right on the brink of war. Like, you know what I mean? Any wrong move could have transpired into World War III. Any wrong move at that point, right at the brink of World War III. You heard of wars and rumors of wars. You know what I mean? Everyone was in fear that, America and all of their allies and, the Iranians and all of their allies, one being Russia, would get involved and, World War III would break out. You know what I mean? You hearing biblical prophecy being fulfilled right now. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. How do we know? Because these kingdoms are falling, man. That's why you got this COVID-19, man, crippling the American economy. You know what I mean? That black, Hispanic, and Native Indians built up for so long. You know what I mean? The fall of this kingdom is at hand. You know what I mean? The scriptures say, when you go into the Apocrypha, it say Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning that followeth after. You know what I mean? Esau would be is the biblical name for the so-called white race. All right. It says Esau is the end of the world. Okay. Meaning the end of this society. You know what I mean? As you know it, where all manner of evil is, is acceptable. Bestiality, pedophilia, homosexuality, drug addiction. You know what I mean? All of these things are permissible in this kingdom. You know what I mean? In this society. You know what I mean? Esau is the end of the world. You know what I mean? The way they live, you know what I mean, is going to be the end of this world. You know what I mean? And Jacob, who is Jacob? Jacob is the progenitor of the Israelites. Jacob, whose name was later changed to Israel, became the father, the progenitor of the 12 tribes that make up the nation of Israel. You know what I mean? We are the beginning that followeth after. So meaning what? Meaning when this kingdom falls, our kingdom is going to be erected. You know what I mean? Christ's kingdom is going to be erected. The Most High's kingdom is going to be erected. Salakia going out of rank order. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? We are going to rule under Christ on this earth, under the Most High. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So that's how we know. You know what I mean? But the kingdom of heaven is at hand, man. You know what I mean? Like I said, the biblical prophecy is being fulfilled in this kingdom, man. You know what I mean? You starting to see the Most High unleash the plagues in this earth, man. You know what I mean? Like they shutting down schools for the whole year. You know what I mean? This brothers and sisters can't go back to their slaveries or what have you. You know what I mean? Like the government is sending out checks to pay you. You know what I mean? They sending you checks. They sending out stimulus checks. You know what I mean? Because they have to do something to when you put something as a temporary, to temporarily, like let's say they trying to stop the bleeding. You know what I mean? You just think an angel just thrust a sword through this kingdom, and they trying to wrap the what is that thing that you wrap around, man? Is it turn up or something like that? They trying to stop the bleeding. You know what I mean? But they're not gonna be able to stop the bleeding, man. You know what I mean? This kingdom is going to bleed out, and you know what I mean? And eventually ultimately it's going to die. You know what I mean? And when this kingdom is over with, the kingdom of Christ will be erected. You understand? You're gonna see famines. You know what I mean? There's going to be famines. There's going to be plagues. There's going to be wars. There's going to be race wars. You know what I mean? All of it. You know what I mean? And and Christ sent his disciples out. He sent his disciples out there to go and teach Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians about this. You know what I mean? So that way, when Christ does return, you know what I mean, you got yourself right and in order, and you got yourself right and in order, and became something that could be presentable before the Most High, to the point where the Most High may decide to have mercy on us. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because right now our people are destroyed because our oppressor is such a goddamn devil, man. You know what I mean? And they have our people deceived. You know what I mean? They have our people deceived something terrible. You know what I mean? So we got to go out here and drop this truth, man. And we teaching our people that the kingdom of heaven is at hand, like the disciples of Christ did. You know what I mean? We ain't teaching everybody. You know what I mean? When we go out to a racially diverse crowd, we make it clear as to who our message is intended for. Our message is intended for so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. You know what I mean? Why? Because that's who Christ intended for us. That's who the Most High intended for us to go teach. You know what I mean? The lost sheep of the house of Israel, man. You know what I mean? This kingdom is fallen. You know what I mean? And if we don't separate from this kingdom, we will be destroyed in it. You know what I mean? You still want to, what do you call it? You still want to be a pedophile. You want to rape. You know what I mean? You want to eat pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster, or what have you. You know what I mean? You want to break the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, you know what I mean, and live like your oppressor. You want to assimilate to the lifestyle of our oppressor. Well, you're going to be destroyed with the oppressor. And we don't want our people to be destroyed with our oppressor. You know what I mean? Pray to Most High that he have mercy on all of Israel, because our enemy is such a goddamn devil, man. And got them under such a spell. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That it's so hard for them to come out of the world. You understand? So, we definitely don't want our people to be destroyed in any capacity. And that's why we going out here and we dropping this truth on them, man, like Christ and the disciples did, man. You know what I mean? We don't care about the man that enslaved us. You know what I mean? The man that enslaved, why we got to go out and teach him about salvation? He got an army. You know what I mean? He got an army to fight his wars. You know what I mean? He has nuclear capabilities, and he has predator drones and whatever other, weapons of mass destruction. He has all of this. You know what I mean? What the heck do he need to be saved from any goddamn way? You know what I mean? We the ones out here cold and dry. You know what I mean? We the ones out here cold and dry with no protection. You know what I mean? The Christian pastor is not going to protect you. You know what I mean? We don't have any protection. You know what I mean? So we ain't out here going to teach these other nations, man. You know what I mean? It ain't, you know what I mean? It's pointless. You know what I mean? Like Christ said himself. He said, the healed have not need of a physician, but the sick do. Paraphrasing. You know what I mean? These are our oppressors. They don't have any. They are healed. They are very healthy. You understand? Our oppressors are healthy and well. You understand? What the heck do they need to be saved from? You know what I mean? Nothing. You know what I mean? They need to be stopped because they destroying everything. They so destructive. You know what I mean? But we go out here and we gonna teach our people, man. Not the man that, listen, why do we even care about what happens to so-called Africans, man? Why do we care about what happens to those Hamites, which is their biblical name? You know what I mean? Why do we care about what happens to them? We shouldn't care about what happens to them. You know why? Because they the ones that rounded us up when we was in their land and sold us to the Europeans into slavery. Why do we want to go and teach and save them? You understand? Chinese man been at the corner serving you, you know, stray cats and the mice that's in his shop on the corner. You know what I'm saying? Chinese man been on there and he running your pockets, making $10,000 a week in his little jump off restaurant. And we want to save them. What the heck they need to be saved from? They got a Chinatown in every major city in America. They don't need to be saved from anything. You know what I mean? You want to save the Arabs. Heck, you want to save the goddamn Arabs for, man. You know what I mean? They the ones that built the ships to, you know, that the cargo slave ships that sailed us into slavery. You know what I mean? The heck we want to go out there and teach them about goddamn salvation, man. There ain't no salvation for them. All of them must pay for the crimes, the acts of war that were committed against our people. They've never paid. You know what I mean? Nobody's ever paid for the atrocities that were committed against our people. You know what I mean? Anyone that has oppressed us has gotten away with it. And there must be justice for those crimes that were committed against our people, man. And that justice is going to come from the Most High. You know what I mean? The best thing we could do, you know what I mean, is to provoke the Lord to come and do it as soon as possible. You know what I mean? Don't go out there and go seek your own justice. You know what I mean? And grab an AR-15 and get the, you know, dumping on the block at the boys or nothing like that. I ain't saying go out there and go do nothing like that. You know what I mean? The justice gonna come from the Most High. You know what I mean? The best thing we could do right now is put down the weed brownies. You know what I mean? Put down the weed cookies and the weed brownies and, you know what I mean? You know, or what have you. That's what we could do. We could decide, you know what? I'm a prince of the Most High and my seed is holy. You understand? I will never stick my rod inside of a heathen woman. You know what I mean? If she ain't with them tribes, then I don't slide inside. You understand? If she with them tribes, then I slides in. You heard me? So that's what you want to, you know what I mean? Stop, let's drop them things and, you know, provoke the Most High to come give us the justice that we rightfully deserve. You know understand? Our people is the one that deserve justice. You know what I mean? We the ones that need justice and all the saving and healing that, you know, it can be given. You understand? But with that being said, right? With that being said, let's drop that, right? And let's go to Matthew 15 and 24, and we're gonna keep this thing rolling, all right? Before I do though, let me roll on the Facebook John, all right? Let me see if we was up rolling because I forgot to check that one, all right? Forgot to check that one. All I gotta do is this now. Yeah, Rock locked me in on that, so you know we should be solid. Okay. Nope. Okay, I don't know what's going on, but bear with me, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And right now is the time, you know, if you do have any questions or what have you. Hold on, conscious coaching. Yeah, if you do have any questions, you can go ahead and drop them things up in there. All right. Go ahead and drop them things up in there. For some reason, this is continuous. This is something that's continuous. All right, there's no sweat. So what I'm gonna do is, what's his name? Mike Rodriguez. Well, actually in Rhode Island, you know what I'm saying, we had a brother out there But you know what I'm saying? We actually need a soldier out there to build up Rhode Island. You know what I'm saying? So, if you want to soldier up in this thing for the most high, uh definitely, you know what I'm saying, call. I'm gonna put the number in the chat for you to call. All right. So I'm gonna put this number in here and you call that number and you know what I'm saying, whoever picks up the phone gonna tighten you up, all right? So let me just put it up in there for you, all right? 646 don't 221. All right. I'll put the number in there for you, brother. Okay. Yeah, by all means, hit that number up and we'll tighten you up, all right? Get you all the information you need. You got any questions, just call that number directly and we'll make sure that you tight, all right? All right, no sweat. So let's drop that and let's go to Matthew 15. We'll go to Matthew 15 and we start at verse. Bear with me. Let's just go to Matthew 15 first, and then we'll see what's happening, and we'll get it rolling on there. All right. See where I want to start at. All right. Let's start at Matthew 15 and 21. All right. Let's start at Matthew 15 and 21. Matthew chapter 15 and verse 21. Then Yahushua went thence and departed into the coast of Tyre and Sidon. All right. And behold, a woman of Canaan, right? So this is a woman of Canaan, meaning what? Canaan was her citizenship, not her nationality. So this is where the woman came from. All right. She came from Canaan. She was of Canaan. She was a resident of Canaan. All right. And came out of the same coast, and came out of the same coast and cried unto him, saying, so this Canaanite, this woman of Canaan came to Christ and she was crying unto him. And this is what she said, all right? So now, let's keep this in mind. You know what I mean? This was a woman of Canaan. However, you know what I mean? She wasn't a Canaanite, but nonetheless, she was still a non-Israelite. She would be considered a heathen because she wasn't with the 12. She wasn't with any of the 12 tribes that make up the nation of Israel. So this woman would still be considered a heathen. All right. And now what we starting to see here is the state that this woman is in. She's in a state of distress. All right. She's in a state of distress and she's coming to Christ in her state of distress. All right. So let's read on. All right. Let's read on. Salaki. Saying, have mercy on me. Right? So now, this heathen woman, this non-Israelite woman is pleading to Christ for him to have mercy on her. All right? And what your good Christian heart would tell you is that Christ should have mercy on her. Christ should have all the mercy. You know what I mean? Here we have a woman in distress and she's pleading to Christ for him to have mercy on her. Right? No sweat. O Lord, thou son of David. Right? So now she's acknowledging Christ in, the lineage, the royal lineage that he descends from. And on another note, it says, thou son of David. All right. Even the heathens, those who weren't of the nation of Israel, had enough intelligence to know that Christ did come from a man and wasn't immaculately conceived. You understand? That's why she said, thou son of David. All right. meaning that he descended from David's lineage. As we read previously in Matthew, the first chapter, we saw how Joseph was a son of David, meaning he descended from David's lineage. All right. So meaning what? All right. Just in essence, if Christ was immaculately conceived, right, he wouldn't be from the lineage, considered to be from the lineage of a man. You understand? He would just be the son of the Most High. Thou son of the Most High. You know what I mean? There would be no need. It would be inaccurate to call him the son of David if he didn't descend from the lineage of David. All right. But he was directly came from the Most High. All right. That's just a side note. So that's a sidebar. All right. But she came to him. She acknowledged his lineage or what have you. Hold on. Yeah, she acknowledged his lineage or what have you. And let's read on. My daughter is grievously vexed with a devil. So now this woman's daughter is grievously vexed with a devil. Okay? Her daughter is grievously vexed with a devil, and she's coming. This is the reason why this woman is in distress. She's in distress and she's pleading to Christ for him to have mercy on her. The reason why is because her daughter is grievously vexed with a devil. All right? Let's read on. But he answered her, not a word. So now, this Christ, when the woman is pleading, she's in distress. You know what I mean? As far as we know, the Christian thing to do would be to respond to the woman. You know what I mean? Maybe tell her to, just pray on it, sister. You understand? Just pray on it. The blood of Jesus be with you. And you know what I mean? Or what have you. That'd be the Christian thing to do. However, Christ himself, when this woman who was not of his lineage, was not of his stock, you know what I mean, came pleading in distress and asking for all the mercy to be had, you know what I mean, on her and her daughter who was grievously vexed with a devil. All right. Christ didn't even respond to the woman. In fact, he ignored her. You know what I mean? Now, is that the Christ we all know and love? I don't think so. That's not the Christ, you know what I mean, you learned about in that Christian church. You know what I mean? That's not the Christ that you learned about. You know what I mean? Jehovah's Witness come to you knocking on your door and you don't open that door. That would be considered rude. You know what I'm saying? That's why brothers and sisters open that goddamn door when them Jehovah's Witnesses come. Because you think the Most High is going to curse you if you don't answer that door when a Jehovah's Witness knock on it. You know what I mean? You feel guilty. Like, man, I just rejected the word of God. You know what I mean? But, Christ ignored her. You know what I mean? Yeah, some would say that's rude. You know what I mean? And we get called rude all the time. We get called rude when we go to camp and we go out there and we teach so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians the truth. And we out there delivering the message of the Most High to the tribes. And someone that's a non-Israelite, that's not of our lineage, that's not our people, right? Comes and they try to interject, themselves in the middle of our message. You know what I mean? We could be out there dropping the truth on a brother or sister, and someone comes and they try to, include themselves in the dialogue that we're having. You know what I mean? We ignore them. You know what I'm saying? Many times, Cap, I heard Cap tell him, this ain't your show. You know what I'm saying? You wanna get a show, take that joint up the block. You understand? And get you a microphone. Right now, this is the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian hour out there. You know what I mean? Because that's who we out here for. You know what I mean? Christ was out there to save so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. You know what I mean? That was the mission that he was on. You know what I mean? And this heathen woman, this woman that wasn't, you know, from his tribes, you know what I mean? She came and she was trying to divert him off of his mission. You know what I mean? Christ was focused. You know what I mean? Christ was focused on the mission that the Lord had sent him on, which was to deliver them tribes back, the lost sheep of the house of Israel. You know what I mean? And he wasn't easily diverted. You know what I mean? He wasn't easily diverted. You know what I mean? He didn't fall weak to some tears because some broad is out there crying on the corner. You know what I mean? He didn't fall weak to them tears. You know what I mean? He ignored that broad. You understand? The same way we'll ignore and we follow Christ. You know what I mean? And we follow the example that he set. You know what I mean? So they come asking for that mercy and what have you, and they trying to save, you know, all the world. John 3:16, for God so loved the world. They trying to save everybody. You know what I mean? We'll ignore you because you're unimportant in comparison to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. To that brother that's on that corner homeless, you know what I mean? Drinking himself, or, you know, drowning himself in his sorrows with liquor. You understand? You know what I mean? We out there for them brothers and sisters, man. We out there for brothers that's out there homeless in the homeless shelters. You understand? That's locked up in prison right now. You know what I mean? That's what we out there for. You know what I mean? You are unimportant in comparison to the troubles that my people are currently facing. You are absolutely unimportant in comparison to the trouble of our people. You know what I mean? Let's read on. Oh, did I flip that joint? I might have flipped that joint. Sloggy. $22. Shalakia. Bear with me 1 second. I'm gonna find my place again. All right. No, son of David. All right. But he answered her not a word. All right. And his disciples came. Right. So now the disciples rolling on the scene. Okay. And besought him, saying, send her away, for she crieth after us. So now the disciples of Christ are now they are requesting from Yahushua that he dismiss this heathen woman. You know what I mean? And tell her to go her way. You know what I mean? Send her away because she's crying after us. The disciples of Christ were unaffected by the tears of this woman. You know what I mean? The tears of America do not concern us. You know what I mean? We are unaffected by the tears that America sheds. You know what I mean? As disciples of Christ, we don't care about your crying. We don't care about your pain and your suffering. You know what I mean? This is viewed to us as something that is well deserved for you. You deserve to cry. Our people cry every night. You understand? Our people, you know, are in continuous sorrow. Death and mourning is in the air. You know what I mean? There's candles and teddy bears on every goddamn corner. You understand? Our people are continuously crying. It's candles everywhere. You know what I mean? You live absolutely wonderful. You live a delicious life. It's a wonderful life that you live. The crime in your area is at zero. You know what I mean? Your property value is at an all-time high. You're skyrocketing your property. You know what I mean? The property in our area is diminished due to the crime. You know what I mean? Due to the condition of the areas that we live in. You know what I mean? the property value is brought down. You understand? Like, we don't care about your tears. You know what I mean? Police murder our people and get away with it. They get a paid vacation when they murder a brother or a sister in the street. For no goddamn reason. You understand? Get a paid vacation. Never get convicted for murdering our people. You know why? Because it's legal. It's legal to use deadly force if you feel like your life is in jeopardy as a police officer. So now all you have to do is say that you felt threatened. Your life felt threatened. You understand? And you will not be convicted for murdering a black or Hispanic. Check the Boston police ordinances for deadly force, and you'll see what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? It's a terrible thing. You know what I mean? Our people are crying continuously. Think about the mothers and the fathers of those brothers and the family members and the friends of them brothers and sisters that are murdered by the police cold in the street and don't receive any justice for it. You know what I mean? Why should we be concerned with your tears? Give me a reason why we should be concerned with your tears. Give me a valid reason. Show me where I should be concerned with your tears. I should not be concerned with your tears. I should be concerned with the tears of my people. You know what I mean? The family and friends of a brother that was murdered by a crooked police officer. You know what I mean? And received no justice by a corrupt government. A government full of corruption. You know what I mean? I should be concerned with those brothers and sisters, man. We don't have no time to worry about your tears. You know what I mean? Our top priority is our people. You know what I mean? You want mercy, you want healing? Go to your government. Go to your governor, go to your president, go to, whoever. Go to the Senate, go to whoever is in charge in your kingdom that is responsible for, you know what I mean? For your condition. Don't entangle us in your matters. And it's disrespectful, you know what I mean, to even believe that we should be concerned with what happens to your people. Given all of the circumstances that we face today, it's disrespectful. When have y'all ever come to our aid? You know what I mean? When has America come to our aid? You know what I mean? They've never come to our aid. They always sought to continuously destroy us in any way that they could. Why should I be concerned with your tears? Let's read on. Have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David. Salakia. Y'all bear with me, you know what I'm saying? I need somebody up in there reading. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put this not only will I put that joint in there, but additionally I'm gonna throw in the call-in number for this class. Salakia, brother, I didn't throw that in there for you sooner, but if anybody else y'all want to come up in this joint, we could definitely do that thing, all right? So I'm gonna throw this in here. Let me see how I could get to it. You know what I mean? Bear with me. One quick second. I'm gonna put that in there. I'm gonna do that from the jump next time. You know what I mean? Unless I had a brother do it for me or what have you. But next time I'm gonna try to do it from the jump, all right? You know what I mean? Try to tighten this thing up. You know what I mean? Get a little refinement going or what have you. We fine tune everything and get it, functioning to Slovakia. We get it functioning to the proper standard. But let me see. I'm trying to find this joint real quick. I'm gonna throw it in there. Bear with me one quick second. All right. Oh man. All right. There we go. Come on, dog. All right. Oh, here we go. Salaki. Okay. So, boom, 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 boom. Yeah, all right. No sweat. So I got it now. I'm about to put it in there. Okay, in the YouTube. All right. Oh, I did that premature. I wasn't trying to, you know what I'm saying? And this is the extension for it. All right. So this is the extension. Okay. So this is what you type in after you call in. You know what I mean? This is the call in number for the class. You know what I mean? You want to call in? Come on with it. All right. I'm gonna turn this up a little bit so I can get with y'all. If I hear y'all tap into the joint, all right? So y'all might hear a little something. Okay. Y'all might hear a little something. I should be able to catch that. All right. I'm gonna put it this way. Ooh. Salaki. All right. No sweat. All right. Where was we at? That's what I was trying to lock in on. Okay. But he answered her not a word, and the disciples came and besought her that she cry after us. But he answered and said, so now this is Christ. Christ is now giving a response now. This is Christ about to speak. All right. And this is what he said. I am not sent. And this is the response that he's given to this woman of Canaan. All right. He said, I am not sent. Meaning what? Meaning I did not come. All right. But with the exception of, meaning with the exception of, I am not sent with, but meaning with the exception of this, unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So Christ, his own words, said that he is not sent. Christ acknowledging his mission. You know what I mean? As to who he was sent here for, you know what I mean, to save. Now, when you go back to Matthew 1 and 21, right? It says, he shall save his people. You know what I mean? That was the angel prophesying unto Joseph and telling them Christ's purpose and why he was being sent. You know what I mean? And now Christ is acknowledging that in saying, I am not sent unto but meaning with the exception of, unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel, which would be so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. You know what I mean? So the two are the connecting the two is, you know, it makes sense. All right. Christ said it himself. What other source could you go to prove? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Christ would be the primary source in determining who he came from. First of all, it'd be from the Most High. You know what I mean? Then you can go to an angel of the Most High. Then you go to Christ's goddamn self telling you as to who he came from. You understand? Christ telling you he did not come to save everyone. You know what I mean? He's telling this woman right now that basically, you know, as far as his priorities are concerned, you know what I mean? He's not, it would be, let me see how to say it. as far as how his priorities are set, you know what I mean, he would be digressing from his priorities. You know what I mean? He would be digressing if he was to, put her before his people. You know what I mean? Like if you went and you was about to, if you set out to go do something for the day, and you went out and you was in the middle of doing it, and while you were in the middle of doing, let's say you had to be somewhere by 2 o'clock. You had to be somewhere by 2 o'clock. You went, you hit the block up en route to doing what you had set out to do. Someone stopped you. Someone you may have known or what have you, and y'all got to talking and rapping or what have you, and you know what I'm saying? And by you sitting there talking to this cat, you know what I mean, you're not going to make it to where you got to go in time. You understand? You're not going to make it to where you got to go in time because you sitting there talking to him. You know what I mean? So as opposed to sitting there rapping with the brother, you know what I mean, you let him know, like, hey, Salakia, you know what I mean, I got to be to this spot by 2, you know what I'm saying? But most definitely I'm going to hit you up, you know what I'm saying, later on after I handle this business over here, and we going to do what it do. You understand? Straight like that. You know what I mean? Like it would be out of order if we was like, man, I had to do this real quick, and then now because I didn't go do that, you know what I mean, I'm jacked up in the game because I put this dialogue first. You know what I mean? But let's read on. Sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Da-da-da. Then came she and worshipped him, saying, Lord, help me. Right? So once again, the woman is pleading even further. You understand? She heard Christ's response, but she acknowledges the authority and the power that Christ has. She knows Christ has the ability to heal. You understand? And, she's in distress. Once again, she's a mother. She's a woman that loves her daughter and doesn't want her daughter to be grievously vexed with a devil. You know what I mean? And she know Christ has the power, has the authority to cast that demon out of her. You know what I mean? So let's read on. Then came she, it's like 26. But he answered and said, it is not meat, meaning not meat. What does meat mean? Meat is an old Quaker English word that means good. So Christ is saying it is not good. All right, let's read on. To take the children's bread, right? Let's read on. Who was the children? Talking about the Israelites. So to take the children's bread, meaning what? That healing, you know what I mean? That healing power that Christ had and the disciples had, you know what I mean? That was intended for somebody. Who it was intended for was the 12 tribes of Israel. You know what I mean? And Christ is letting them know, like, it's not meat, it's not good to take the children's bread. Meaning these healing powers that I have, you know what I mean, that's intended for my people, you know what I mean? It's not good for me to use these healing powers, let's read on, and cast it to the dogs, right? So now Christ is referring to this woman as a dog. He's saying it's not good to take the children's bread and cast it onto the dogs. You know what I mean? Like, and then now it's so heavy because, that's letting you know the position that these heathens have in the kingdom. You know what I mean? Christ having a knowledge, he understands that, you know what I mean? He refers to the Israelites as children. You know what I mean? He refers to them as people. All right? And to the woman of Canaan, right? He refers to her and her people as dogs. Right? So he's referring to her and her people as dogs. Now what I mean? Meaning that in comparison to our people, you know what I mean? These other nations are the equivalent to an animal. You know what I mean? They're equivalent to an animal. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you got a dog or a cat or something like that. All right, no sweat. Are you gonna feed the cat before you feed, you know what I'm saying, your daughter or your son, or, you know what I mean, your elderly mother or father or something like that? Or god dang, even yourself. You know what I mean? You're gonna feed the cat before you feed yourself? You're gonna feed the dog before you feed your family? I don't think so. You're not gonna feed the your animal before you feed your family, because, you know what I mean, common sense would tell you that, you know, your family is your top priority. The animal is secondary. You know what I mean? And it's you know, it's not even necessary to have. Furthermore, you know what I mean? The animal is not necessary to have. Animal is not necessary to be there. You know what I mean? But your family is. And in determining who should eat first, you know, undoubtedly, you're going to choose your family every time. You understand? You're going to choose the family every time. You know what I mean? So Christ, that's the position Christ put her in. To equivalent to an animal. You know what I mean? Now, it's not saying that she's literally a dog, however, but he's speaking metaphorically. All right? It's a metaphoric expression that he's given the woman to make her understand as to what as to why he's not healing her daughter, and why he's not concerned with healing her daughter. All right? That's why he's given this metaphoric expression, to further help her understand, you know, what is important to him, and why he's not concerned with her tears. All right, let's read on. And she said, "Truth, Lord." You understand? And she said, "Truth, Lord." Now, I might want to get into this just a little bit. I think I got the time to also. So she said, "Truth, Lord." So she acknowledged. So now, after Christ had said that, he gave her he gave her that metaphoric expression to explain his stance, and as to why, he stood on that, right? She acknowledged she acknowledged it, and she acknowledged it as being the truth. All right? She said, "Truth, Lord." You know what I mean? Meaning like, true that. You know what I mean? That's what you said is a fact. All right? Let's read on. "Yet the dogs eat of the crumbs which fall from the master's table." You understand? It's a wonderful thing. You know what I mean? He said the dogs eat of the crumbs that fall from the master's table. You know what I mean? Now she coming back with something else. You know what I mean? Still referring to herself as being a dog and her people as being dogs. You know what I mean? She putting herself in that position, acknowledging her position. But meaning what? What exactly does that mean, though? You know what I mean? Truth, Lord, but the dogs eat of the crumbs which fall from the master's table. The dogs eat from the crumbs that, like, think about it today. You know what I mean? In today's society, we eat of the crumbs that fall from the master's table. You know what I mean? What is that? Them crumbs that fall from the master's table? Section 8, SNAP benefits, WIC, you know what I mean? All forms of welfare. That's the crumbs that fall from the master's table. The food bank, that's the crumbs that fall from the master's table. You understand? He's so rich and wealthy and powerful that, he has a little something he can throw you. You know what I mean? He could take some crumbs and throw you something to satisfy your hunger. You know what I mean? He could take some crumbs and throw you some to satiate your living circumstances. You know what I mean? He has enough power and authority to do that and still be very, very wealthy. You know what I mean? To still be very rich and powerful. The crumbs that fall from the master's table. You know what I mean? Well, there's going to be a day. There's going to be a day. You know what I mean? And that's what we are building right now. You know what I mean? Under the Most High and Christ and the UPK. We building a place where blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians will be so wealthy, you understand, that we will be able to throw the heathens some crumbs. We'll be able to give them some Section 8. You know what I mean? We'll be able to give them some welfare, some WIC, some SNAP benefits, you know what I mean, so they can eat and they can feed their babies. You know what I mean? That's how powerful and rich we will be, you know what I mean, in our kingdom. You understand? And that's how the Most High intended for it to be. You know what I mean? Right now, we ain't got no time to be dealing like that. But, you know what I mean? That's why we not really, concerned with it. Because we trying to provoke the Most High to get back in his right place. You understand? To get right before the Most High, so we can get that rulership and have dominion over the earth and all the goods and the wealth, and distribute it as to how we see fit to what nations. You know what I mean? But she acknowledged herself as being that dog, man. You know what I mean? And right now she's trying to persuade Christ, you know what I mean, into doing the thing that she asked. You know what I mean? And she's going about it in a pretty respectable way. You understand? She's going about it in a respectable way. You know what I mean? But let's read on. And she said, "Truth, Lord, yet the dogs eat of the crumbs which fall from their master's table." Then Yahushua answered. So now Christ is now responding to what she just said. And said unto her, right? And this is what he said to her. "O woman," right? So now he's talking to the woman. "Great is thy faith," right? He said, "Great is thy faith." You know what I mean? She believes. She know that Christ. She know who Christ is. She know, who those disciples are, and she knows that they are supposed to be the ruling figures in the earth. She knows it. You know what I mean? And she knows that her people should be abased. You know what I mean? Her people should be on the bottom. They should live lowly. They should live like dogs and cats. You understand? In comparison to how the children of Israel live. You know what I mean? When you compare our living circumstances, you should be able to understand that you should live on the bottom. You should live with the roaches and the mice and the rats, you understand? And all of the, whatever else. You understand? You should live in those circumstances. You should live in the projects. You understand? And we should live in castles and mansions and, whatever, have acres upon acres of land. We should live like that. And you shouldn't. And you should acknowledge that. And that it is the truth. All right? And maybe, just maybe, before I go there, let's read on. Then Yahushua answered and said unto her, "O woman, great is thy faith." You know what I mean? Because once again, faith without works is dead. All right? So she could say that. So now, and this is another thing that we encounter also. Now she could use all the lip service that she wants and say, I think, I'm sorry for what my people did to your people. You know what I'm saying? I apologize for what our people did to you, putting you in slavery and in the projects and in the prison systems and opening up abortion clinics in your neighborhood with the intention to murder your babies and whatever else have you. You know what I mean? You should acknowledge that. But they say that. They say they're sorry. And they're not willing to do anything to show that is their true belief. They're not willing to do anything to show that they believe that. You know what I mean? You're not willing to bow down on your hands and knees and kiss the sons, you know what I mean, of the former slaves. You're not willing to do that. When you're not willing to do that, you verify that only thing you providing is lip service. You are lying. You don't believe what you're saying. You're not willing to empty out your bank account with the realization that the only reason that you have those finances in there is because your forefathers enslaved blacks and Hispanics and put them in fields and made them pick cotton, and they got rich off it, and sugar cane and all of that. You know what I mean? And they got rich. You understand? Now, if you're not willing to empty out your bank account and get on your hands and knees and kiss the boots, lick the boots of the priests and prophets of the Most High, the sons of former slaves, you don't really believe what you're saying. You don't believe that we the men of the Lord. You understand? But this woman, she did believe, though. You understand? She did believe. And because she did, Christ said, "O woman, great is thy faith." Right? Great is thy faith. Right? And just before I go there, now when y'all come, when these heathens come up to us and they try to tell us, they feel sorry and they not willing to show us in deed that, with their deeds that they are sorry. You know what I mean? You won't receive any mercy from the Most High. You know what I mean? The Most High is not going to give you any mercy because you are lying and you don't believe what you saying. You know what I mean? You're not genuine in the statements that you are delivering. You know what I mean? You so sympathetic, but you don't want to get on your hands and knees. That's the least you could do. The least you could do is get on your hands and knees and kiss the boots of every prophet of the Most High. That's the least you could do. You understand? But let's read on. Then Yahushua answered and said unto her, O woman, great is thy faith. Be it unto thee even as thou wilt. And be it unto thee even as thou wilt. Meaning, what you are requesting, let it be so. All right. And her request was for Christ to heal her daughter because she was grievously vexed with a devil. All right. And Christ said, let it be so. All right. And her daughter was made whole from that very hour. Now, this is something that, our oppressors should read and they should model themselves after. They should model themselves after this woman of Canaan, who was a Greek, a Syrophoenician by nation. You know what I mean? Let me have should I get that? Shalaki. Let me see. I should though, right? But we running up on the time. But this, let me just go. But you should model yourself after this. You understand? You should model yourself after this woman right here. Because, if you want to have any mercy from the Most High, if you want mercy from the Most High might decide to have mercy on you if you acknowledge, your error. You acknowledge your error in sincerity, in deed. You know what I mean? The Lord might have a little mercy on you. You know what I mean? He might have a little mercy on you. In the kingdom, you might be an overseer. You understand? For the other slaves of your nation that come from your nation. You know what I mean? Because as you know, anyone that put our people into slavery will go into slavery. You know what I mean? The scriptures say Edom shall be a possession. You know what I mean? They shall take them captives whose captives they were. You know what I mean? Meaning, don't think that slavery is going to go unpunished. You know what I mean? Slavery will not go unpunished. All right? The people that put us in slavery will be enslaved by us. You know what I mean? You should start putting in your bid right now, all right, as to what position you'll be in the kingdom under Christ. Because surely the end is near. You know what I mean? Surely we in the last days, all right? You can look outside. You can't even come out your goddamn house right now. You know what I mean? For the most part, without a mask. You know what I mean? You got to have a mask on and gloves on and get all the disinfectant and Lysol wipes you can get your hands on and all the toilet paper, tissue that you can get. You know what I mean? You can get all the food you can rack up on and what have you. You know what I mean? You should see what's going down right now. You should put your bid in for, you know what I mean, your position in the kingdom under Christ, which is soon at hand. You know what I mean? Maybe you will be an overseer. You know what I mean? For other, you know, slaves that are picking cotton. You know what I mean? And you can crack the whip on them. You know what I mean? Maybe you could do that. So, with that being said, we got, and it's just to show, you know what I mean, give another account of it. All right. We're going to go to Mark. Bear with me 1 second. All right. I'm going to go to Mark. It was the 7th chapter. All right. Come on with it. Luke. Y'all bear with a priest. 1 quick second. Okay. Maybe I'm jacking up. I'm gonna get it on here just to pull it quick because we running up on that time. You know what I'm saying? So we gonna get the second account of that. And let me see. Mark 7 and 20. And from this year, Mark 7 and 25. All right. So this is the second account. This is Mark's account of what happened with Christ and the woman of Canaan. All right. Okay. For a certain woman whose young daughter had an unclean spirit heard of him and came and fell at his feet. Right. So this is referring to that woman of Canaan that came and fell at Christ's feet, crying, or what have you. All right. The woman was, now this is to let you know, like when it says, let's say, a woman of Canaan, right? Or let me see, a centurion of the Italian band, right? This is letting you know that when you see something like that in the scriptures, it's not solely referring to, now I wouldn't even say solely, but it's not referring to, all right? It's not referring to the ethnicity of whoever is being mentioned there. You know what I mean? So let's read on. All right. The woman was a Greek. All right. So now it's letting you know what I mean, which ethnicity this woman belonged to. All right. She was a Greek, a Syro-Phoenician by nation. All right. But when you read about it in Matthew, the 15th chapter, it said that she was a woman of Canaan. However, in Mark's account, it's more descriptive and it tells you that the woman was a Greek, a Syro-Phoenician by nation. So this was a white woman. All right. And she besought him that he would cast forth the devil out of her daughter. All right. But Yahushua said unto her, let the children first be filled. All right. Let the children first be filled. All right. Like we discussed previously. For it is not meet to take the children's bread and to cast it unto the dogs. We also broke that down. And she said unto him, yes, Lord, yet the dogs under the table eat of the children's crumbs. Right? The dogs under the table eat of the children's crumbs. All right, no sweat. Let's read on. And he said unto her, for this saying, once again, for this saying, right? So now why did Christ heal the woman? Was it because Christ came to heal and love and hand out kisses and hugs to everybody? You know what I mean? No, it wasn't because Christ came to hand out kisses and hugs and love everybody. You know what I mean? And because he came for all nations and died for all nations. But the reason why Christ healed her daughter was for what? For this saying. Understand? Go thy way. The devil is gone out of thy daughter. Because she acknowledged her rightful position in this kingdom. You know what I mean? That's the reason why Christ healed her daughter. For this saying. Because she acknowledged that she was comparable to a dog in comparison to the children of Israel. You understand? That's why Christ healed that devil. All right. You understand? And we right up on that 155. You know what I'm saying? Right up on 155. So with that being said, with that being said, we're gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna just check one time and then see what the business is, and if it ain't nothing up there, then I'm gonna roll on y'all. All right? Okay. All right. Yeah, so that's pretty much it on that. All right. So no sweat. All right. No sweat. So with that, you know what I mean? I'm gonna get up out of here, Israel. Shalom. Y'all Shem Y'all Raka Dum, my brothers. Y'all was Shamal Ladun Bahashim Y'all to the sisters.